This week on Game On,
Find out all the happenings at Echuca Football Club as we speak to President Ashley BYRNE.
get a wrap of all the weekend's football and netball games,
We have previews of the teams into the grand final.
and meet the Moama Netballers taking on TONGALA this weekend.
Well, there's just 1 week to go of football and netball with the GVL and Murray League grand finals to be played this weekend. But before we get into all those previews and our reviews from the preliminary finals that were played this weekend, we actually caught up with the Echuca Football Club President Ashley BYRNE about how the club's made changes this year and how they're looking to go in 2018.
There'll be a few changes from a coaching perspective, and there'll be a few changes off the ground. Jeff Castles and Brett Stevens, who have been looking after the club and Briggsy over the last 4 or 5 years, are all stepping away, so there's a few new people coming into the place. So it'll be a bit of a different look, but hopefully those of us coming in can just build on what those blokes have done previously so that we can continue to improve as we have been. There'll be a number of us who will make up the new committee, I suppose, or will be part of a new committee or a different committee. Dave Kennelly will be involved, Simon Oshold, Sean Green, Megan Maluso. There's a couple of others who we're still talking to at the moment, but it'll be a bit of a different look from that point of view as well. I think Simon, with his record, and Simon's a life member of Echuca Footy Club, and he's coached Moama for 5 years and did an amazing job over there with a young list, and we've got a really young list at the moment, so I think Simon will be tremendous with those kids. And then Andrew coming back to town will just create so much enthusiasm around the whole town, not just our playing group. I'm sure they are all very excited to be able to play with Andrew, but for what he'll do for our club around the town and around the league. Went to the Morris Medal last night, and there was genuine excitement from a lot of people over there that Andrew was coming back to town and going to be playing in the GV again. So that was really positive. We've got to build with our kids, our netballers and our footballers, bring our juniors through, focus on developing them so that they're our future. So that'll be a big focus for us as a group, because we've all got our kids involved in the club, so we want to see not only our own kids but all the local kids from around the area who play with us to have the opportunity to play in the Golden Valley, and if we can help them do that, then that's a big part of our job. Our focus at the minute is to try and retain our existing group, and if we can retain the majority of our existing group, then we think if we can keep them fit, that if we can develop our kids, we don't need a lot. Ideally we'd get a couple more midfielders to help Simon Buckley, and just a few more young blokes to be the future, I suppose, because we've got 3 or 4 of our key players who are getting a bit older now, so it'd be good to have some young kids coming through and doing their apprenticeship and be the stars of Echuca in 3 or 4 years' time.
And Simon Buckley, he did just win that back-to-back Morrison Medal. What does it mean to have him at the club and around the team?
He's an amazing player. Next year will be his 6th year at the footy club. He's a pretty quietly spoken sort of bloke around the group, but his example to his teammates is incredible. So I think for our young blokes to play with someone like Simon and to train with someone like Simon, they just see what sort of work ethic he has and what sort of work ethic you need in order to achieve really high standards, and Simon sets those standards week in, week out, so he's just a great example for everybody, really, not just Echuca people, but everybody who comes to the footy to watch. We finished 7th this year. I have no doubt that if we had had a good run with injury, that we would have played finals and quite possibly could have been playing this week if they had been all fit, but that happens, so hopefully we can improve on our 7th this year, play finals next year. Off field I think we're really healthy. Brett Stevens and Jeff Castles have done an amazing job in the time that they've been in charge. We've got a great club, like, we're really stable. It's just a case of building on what the boys have done and trying to get a few more people down and around the footy and supporting our netballers and our footballers so that we can achieve a bit more success than what we have done recently. Having said that, the netballers are amazing. We've got the under-17s in the grand final this week. The B Reserve played finals, B grade in the grand final, and A grade got done in the first final. So Netballers are going really well, and it's exciting for us that next year the under-15s will be in, so we'll get some younger girls down around the club as well, and hopefully all their families and friends, and that's what we're looking to build, just that whole club culture and get a little bit better than where we're at the moment.
Well, we're going to take a quick look at the reserves and the underage grades of the football from the weekend, starting with the Murray League reserves, where Echuca United lost to Numurkah. The season was ended with a 4-goal loss in that preliminary final. It was definitely just a case of one team really taking their chances. That was Numurkah. They had the wind in that third quarter and really kicked away. In the last quarter, United actually responded really well. They locked the ball right inside their half for 15 minutes in a row, but they kicked 7 straight behinds, and that just killed their chances. If a few of those behinds were goals, it would have been a different game. But look, it ends what was actually quite a promising season for United's reserves. They were 12-3, which got them second on the ladder. And it's definitely an extension of the overall improvement of United's football. We know Guy Campbell's putting together a really strong and deep list, and the flow-on effect of that is the reserves get a lot more talented players. Disappointing to end the season in straight sets, but look, a promising season overall. Moving to the under-17s now, where Moama, they sealed a grand final spot for the 4th consecutive year with a 1-goal win against Finley. They just did enough to hold on in a really low-scoring game, 6-5. The weekend saw a best on-ground performance from Noah Wheeler. We know he's been performing at a high level in seniors. He stepped down to 17s and he dominated with a couple of goals there. Some other standouts for Moama: Callum Doyle, Connor Wright, Bailey Steenbuck and Reece Sidebottom. And it sets up a grand final, probably the best case scenario for the under-17s. Cobram against Moama. Cobram undefeated this season, but Moama lost to them by just 5 points the last time they met. That match is 10:30 this Sunday at Rumballara. And before that, we have the under-14s, where Moama will also be contesting that one against Numurkah. The Moamas, they got through with the preliminary final win against Echuca United. A really good performance from Moama. Kept United goals to 3-quarter time and had a 35-point lead, and then they ended up winning by 16 points. A few standouts: Daniel Castledine kicked 2, best on for Moama. Zach Ross, Alec Dick and Billy Barnes, a couple of the other standouts. And then for United, Corey Garner kicked a couple of goals in that last quarter. Jaden Talbot, Cooper McCauley and Rick Ridley were also good. So the grand final this Saturday at 9 o'clock, Moama will need to make up a 70-point margin from the last time they faced Numurkah.
Well, in the GVL Echuca B grade, they've made it through to the grand final after beating Shepparton United by 7 goals at the preliminary final at Deakin Reserve on Sunday. It was a close first quarter, but Echuca, they managed to pull away in the second to set up a 5-goal lead at half time. They were able to build on that lead in the third and then hold on for the fourth to make it into the grand final against Benalla. It's going to be a pretty tough game against Benalla, but Echuca, they've got a lot of experienced players. They've played finals before, and I'm expecting them to do pretty well against the Saints. In the under-17s, they recorded their own 7-goal win against Shepparton Bears, and they continue to have standout players in every third who will need to step up again this weekend for the grand final. Hopefully they can hold strong against Shepparton United and come out with a win there. That'll be played at Deakin Reserve this Sunday. Over in the Murray League, and Tongala, they played Deniliquin in the preliminary final at Cobram on Saturday. And Tony, they were coming in against the odds. They had a depleted list and they were missing 2 defenders from the weekend before. That was Amy O'Neill in A grade and Sharon Brennan in B grade. But Tongala, they just wanted it more in the end, and that showed in their defensive pressure all over the court, which managed to turn the ball over several times and create those opportunities for goalers. They won by 11 goals in the end, and it set themselves up for a really good start, which they were able to get that early lead and then extend on at every quarter. My standout for the day was Abby Pettifer. She goaled exceptionally well, didn't miss a goal in B grade, and then came on to play in another incredible game in A. Also, Paige Wade, she was just a real workhorse. Saturday, she played 2 full games in C grade. She was crucial to both B and A and never looked to slow down once. Amelia White, she was easily the best for Deniliquin, and she really came out determined and wanting to get that win, but like she did against Echuca United, she just couldn't turn it around in the game against Tongala for her team. Tongala, they'll now face Moama in the grand final this weekend at Rumballara, and it's really set up to be the Moa's game to lose, having been the front runners all season. Tongala, though, they will be depleted once again, but they have shown week after week they find a way to win, and no doubt they'll be looking to do that this weekend. So it is a game that really could go either way. We actually had the chance to catch up with a few of Moama's A-grade netballers ahead of that grand final this weekend.
Probably Charlotte.
I would say Anne, because I can always hear her down the other end.
I would say probably Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I reckon Ange, up that fullback.
Alex.
Charlotte again.
Probably Alex or Steph, I reckon. Obstruction.
Probably armbar contacts.
Probably obstruction when I land. Yeah.
Definitely contacts. 20 again.
We always put the other team off by saying make her shoot.
I think she just yells yes and then says the player's full name, so it'll be like, yes, Georgia goes.
Keep it classy. Ooh. Probably make him shoot.
Fruit all the way.
Fruit. I don't really have either. Probably lollies.
Gold Coast.
BYRNE.
Yeah. Hoping it's this year at the Goldie.
Gold Coast.
Well, Tongala B grade, they also made it through to playing the grand final this weekend. They overcame Echuca United by 19 goals in the preliminary final. Tony's accuracy was the main difference in the end, and defensively they worked really well, didn't create many opportunities for Eagles. They'll now play Finley at Rumballara on Saturday. In other grades, Echuca United C and C Reserve, their run in finals ended by 2 and 1 goals on the weekend. Moama, they also lucked out in the under-17s and won't be playing in the grand final. They lost to Kingupna, by 4 goals. In the 15s and 13s, Echuca United, their teams both made it through. Under-17s also made it straight into the grand final. All those teams will be playing, and Tongala, they'll have teams playing in the under-13s and under-12s as well.
Awesome. Well, good luck to all the teams competing in grand finals this weekend, and be sure to tune in to riverineherald.com.au and our Facebook page next week, where you can find out all the results.
And keep watching now for all the photos from the weekend taken by RIV photographer Luke Hemmer.